Elias loved the graveyard shift. As a maintenance tech at St. Vincent's, the old hospital's dim corridors were his domain. His nightly routine was simple: check the power units, inspect the morgue's refrigeration systems, and make sure the body drawers stayed at the right temperature. It was monotonous, but he preferred the quiet of the basement. Up above, the hospital was a symphony of beeping machines and bustling nurses, a world of the living. Down here, it was just him and the dead. He used to joke that they were better company anyway. But lately, that company had felt off. He'd get temperature alerts that would fix themselves before he even got there. Security footage near the morgue would skip a few seconds, just a blip, but always there. The lights would flicker, but only when he was near that one specific door. He reported it, of course, but his superiors just shrugged it off as old wiring. Still, Elias couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The air in the cold rooms hummed with a strange energy, as if something else was breathing with him in the dark. One night, an alarm shrieked through the silence. Drawer number 3 was too warm. Muttering about another malfunction, Elias headed down. The morgue was colder than usual, his breath misting in the air. He went to reset the panel, but it flashed a red error message: manual lock engaged. That was impossible. Only medical staff could engage that lock, and no one else was scheduled to be down there. As he leaned in to inspect the drawer, he heard it, a faint metallic thump from inside. He froze. Then the sound came again, slower this time, a dragging scrape. His flashlight trembled in his hand. "Hello?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. Silence. With a deep breath, he forced the drawer open just a crack. He could see a figure under a white sheet, a Jane Doe. But the shape was wrong. It looked like something was pressing up from underneath the sheet. Elias slammed the drawer shut, his heart pounding. He logged the issue as compressor noise and fled. But even as he walked away, he could still hear that faint, scraping sound behind the closed door. The next night, Elias returned, a knot of dread tightening in his stomach. The whole hospital felt heavier, the silence more suffocating. Around 3 a.m., just as he was checking the boiler, the morgue alarm beeped again. Drawer number 3. Same error. Same time. He didn't want to go, but it was his job. The morgue door resisted him, as if something was pushing against it from the other side. When it finally creaked open, the room smelled strange, a mix of metallic blood and refrigeration oil. He stood perfectly still, listening. And then he heard it, a ragged, shallow inhale, clear as day, coming from one of the drawers. His skin went cold. He pulled open the first drawer, empty. The second, empty. He reached for the third. It slid open easily. The Jane Doe was gone. The body tag dangled from the edge, detached. Suddenly, the power flickered. For a split second, the room filled with whispers, dozens of low voices all murmuring his name. The lights came back on. The drawers were all shut. Elias didn't wait. He ran upstairs and refused to go back down until morning. When the day shift coroner arrived, Elias overheard them talking. The Jane Doe from drawer number 3 had been sent to the city lab 2 nights ago. That drawer should have been empty all along. Security footage confirmed it. It just showed Elias standing alone, staring at a closed cabinet for several minutes. No voices, no open drawers, nothing. They politely suggested he get some rest, noting how pale and shaken he looked. Elias started losing sleep. He dreamed of cold metal rooms and the sound of someone breathing just out of sight. One night at home, miles from the hospital, he heard it, the distinct sound of a body drawer sliding open. He checked his phone. A notification from the hospital S-System app. Temperature alert. Drawer 3. The timestamp read 3:02 a.m. He had to know what was going on. He snuck into the hospital archives and found old blueprints. The morgue wasn't originally a morgue. It was part of the old St. Vincent's Sanatorium, shut down in the 1950s after a flu outbreak. That part of the basement had been used to store the unclaimed dead. Hundreds of bodies piled up and forgotten. Some were never even recorded. Digging deeper, he found an old ledger. Next to drawer number 3, a faint pencil note read, Occupant never removed. He froze. That same night, voices crackled through the hospital intercom. They weren't whispers anymore. They were desperate pleas begging to be remembered. Elias couldn't ignore it. He went to the morgue. The moment he entered, the temperature plummeted. On the floor, frost began to form in the shape of handprints, all reaching for the door. At exactly 3 a.m., every alarm in the basement went off at once. Power surged and died. Grabbing a flashlight, Elias ran down. The morgue door was wide open. Inside, all 6 drawers were pulled out, all of them empty. Cold vapor rolled along the floor like fog. He heard shuffling in the corner. Then a woman's soft, broken voice whispered, "It's cold." Elias spun around, shining his light into the darkness. A figure stood by drawer number 3, pale, wrapped in a white plastic shroud, its arm bent at an unnatural angle. Its eyes were wide open and unblinking. He stumbled back and his flashlight flickered out. In the total darkness, he felt icy fingers brush his neck. He screamed, scrambled for the door, and ran, slamming it shut behind him. His colleagues later watched the security feed. They saw him sprinting from the morgue in terror, but the door behind him never opened. It had been sealed shut the entire time. Elias never went back to work. The hospital filed it as a psychological breakdown, but the system logs remained. Drawer number 3 still triggers random alerts at 3:02 a.m., even though the unit was disconnected from power months ago. New maintenance staff refused to work the night shift alone. The official record simply says, "Section sealed due to unexplained system anomalies." Elias moved out of town, but he says the smell of disinfectant still follows him. Some nights, his home thermostat will beep at exactly 3:02 a.m., displaying a sudden temperature drop to near freezing. And on those nights, he swears he can hear the faint scrape of metal from beneath his floorboards and the whisper of a woman's voice, still calling to him from the cold.